Morning. I'd like to call the Community Services Committee meeting to order. I guess on behalf of the Chairwoman Weber, I'll be running the meeting, hopefully satisfactorily. So hope everybody is well, safe. You know, if your roads are passable, good luck. If they're not, stay home. I guess I'm moving on. I have no public comment today, but I will do a roll call. Let's go with Miss Weber.
Present.
Miss Parker.
Present.
Miss Pope.
Present.
Mr. Snipes. Present. Miss Peters.
Present.
Mr. Tholen. Mr. Carrico.
Present.
Mr. Kirkstra.
Present.
Mr. Daryl Smith.
Present.
Mr. Eckhoff.
Present.
Mr. Hunter.
Here. Present.
Miss Bryan. Miss Hudson.
Present.
Mr. Kenneth Smith.
Present.
And I am here, Mr. Seroy. All right, we have quorum. All righty, no presentations. I'm going to ask for one vote for the approval of the minutes and the monthly reports of the county clerk, assessor, recorder, animal control, and we'll leave it with that because there is no vote on the monthly update for the AWAC. So is there a motion to combine and approve? I'll go with Mr. Kirkstra and Polk with a second. I'll do a roll call vote, please. Miss Weber?
Aye.
Miss Parker?
Aye.
Miss Polk?
Aye.
Mr. Snipes? Aye. Miss Peters?
Aye.
Sorry about that. I had to turn the roll call mic on in here. Mr. Tholen is not here. Mr. Carrico?
Aye.
Mr. Kirkstra?
Aye.
Mr. Daryl Smith?
Aye.
Mr. Eckhoff?
Aye.
Mr. Hunter?
Aye.
Miss Bryan is not in attendance. Sorry about that. Miss Hudson?
Aye.
Mr. Kenneth Smith?
Aye.
And I vote aye. All right. Sorry about this. I got to fix something real quick. I've never done the tabulations and I was putting the checks in the wrong area since this is an official record.
I don't have anything. If anybody had any questions, I'd be happy to answer them.
By the way, motion carries. Any questions for Dan today? Anything upcoming? Nothing?
Got an election a week from today.
I've heard things. How's it going as far as early voting?
Slow,
Very slow?
but not. It probably will end up about the same numbers that we had 4 years ago.
Alrighty.
What number do you have today, Dan?
Pardon?
As of today, how many people have voted early voting?
Ballpark figure, don't hold me to an exact number, but I think we're at about 329,
Okay.
which 3.5 months ago would have been a good morning for us, but
Sure.
so yeah, grateful that today's not a week from today.
Mm-hmm.
Anything else for Dan? All right, thanks.
Have a good day.
The assessor, Eric Blair, do you have anything for us today, Mr. Blair?
I've got a couple of quick things just to update you on the what's going on in the office. It's very brief. Couple of things that we've completed in the last month since we last spoke. I did send off all of the answers to the questions from the Department of Revenue pertaining to the final abstract. And we did report all of the 2020 sales to the Department of Revenue. So those things have been done, but what we're waiting for now is the final abstract certification from the Department of Revenue so that the clerk can begin extension whenever he's ready. And he really can't do that until at least our final abstract gets certified, and then also he's got some concerns with overlapping taxing bodies as well, taxing districts as well from other counties. So what we're waiting on is that final abstract certification, and then the detailed sales list from the Department of Revenue which comes after we report all the sales to the state, which, like I said, we've already done that. So that's really what's going on in our department. If there are any questions, I'd be happy to answer those.
Anything for Eric? All righty. Thanks so much.
Thanks a lot.
All right, moving on. I have, I'm sorry, please, Lori. I apologize. I want to see if there's anything else besides that.
Put me out of order.
We have our recorder, Lori Gadboy. I'll see if there was something else besides monthly report. Please.
Good morning, everyone. Any questions on today's report? As you can see, real estate transactions are still moving along very well and healthy in Kankakee County. So we're busy with that. And then we, as I reported last month, are working as efficiently as possible with our 155,000 new images, and that seems to be going very, very well. We found about 5,000 duplicates, which we've already cleaned that up and gotten that taken care of. So we're just moving along. Questions? No?
Anything today? Well, I'm short and sweet.
Yes, it was.
Thank you.
And we're busy today, so. Have a great day, everyone. Be safe.
You too.
Thank you, Madam Recorder.
Moving on, animal control. Carrie Laird.
Nothing really to report. I apologize for the blanks on the report that I sent over. Waiting for a report from the finance department, sorry, from the treasurer's office. I won't receive until next week. So that's why the blanks are on there. I was told one of their employees was out, so I did not receive that information. Other than that, I have nothing.
Is there any questions for Carrie regarding animal control? All righty, hearing none. Thanks, Carrie. Any particular thing on statistical data? I'm just curious. Is there any? It was a separate line item. Is there anything out of the ordinary that you would report?
Sorry, try not mute. No, it's just the statistical data is just meaning like animals that return to owners, surrendered animals, and stuff like that. Basically, like euthanasia. So
Okay.
that's not a separate report. That's all it is.
Okay.
Just two separate reports.
Okay. Oh, I see here. It was separated in my packet. Sorry about that. I usually got it. I didn't see it. So, okay. Thank you. Moving on. Under AWAC, Tinker, I guess you had a few things for us today?
I do. I guess I'm going to be the lengthy presentation today. We had a very energetic and productive meeting last week, and today we are ready to submit our final draft of the running at large ordinance to you. I emailed it to everyone this morning, but I have it here. And Andy, Mr. Chairman, do you mind if I share right now?
Yeah, we're not voting on anything, so if you're just sharing, yeah, for next time. Yeah.
We're just sending this to Community Services for approval, so we can send it. If there's any changes that need to be made, we'd like to get it sent off to the General Board at the March meeting. This is one we've been working on for quite some time, and I want to thank Carrie and Assistant State's Attorney John Coughlin for putting this together for us. Basically, this is animal running at large in the county area, and domestic animal or livestock that they should be restrained and they shouldn't be running free unless they're on a leash. And there will be no violation if the owner is not aware of the animal running, but if they just let the animal run, it's a nuisance, and then they could be fined. And so this is one that has come about because I've had several complaints living in a smaller suburb or subdivision out of Highland Road, that I have had complaints from runners, especially where the dogs are running loose and there's a threat of them being bit or children playing outside and animals are running and could be of danger not only to the animal but to the person that is walking, playing, or whatever. So we brought this to Community Services today for your approval. It's in your mailbox, and here it is up here if you have a chance to read through it. And we're asking for your approval today so we may send it to General Board meeting in March. Are there any questions? We have Carrie here that could answer those questions.
This is Hunter. Got a practical question. If you got people out on Holland Road with substantial property and kids got dogs out there, how are you going to actually enforce or police something like that?
It would be this last line that they have reasonable care and restraining from running at large. If they're playing in the yard, Carrie, maybe you can answer this. If they're just, if the animal is a nuisance. But Carrie, could you answer it any further than that?
Yeah, basically animal control would have to be called. We'd have to have video or proof on our own that the animal's off the property and they're allowing the animal to be off the property unleashed. So if you're walking your dog down the street, the leash is hanging next to you, you're letting your animal run at large. Even though the animal's right next to you, it's still uncontained by the owner or it's off their property.
So would you generally say, ladies, that what you're concerned about is like people who are jogging or whatever, and in an instance where a dog has appeared to be malicious and has a propensity for biting, attacking people, is that what you're really kind of referring to?
We have a running at large ordinance, but this is protecting any dog. So if my dog is friendly and running with him off leash, that is not protecting another dog that's going to come after him. So I can always take my dog and run away with my dog. My dog's going to stand up and try and, you know, in a sense, fight back. But if my dog's on a leash, I have more control over him. Even though he's the friendly one, he's still more control over your dog. So we do have a running at large ordinance. We're just trying to change the wording in it in a sense.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Thank you.
Ms. Parker, is this the only two things we see here on the screen, or is there more?
No, this is it right here. It ends right here. I mean, I have another share, another issue, but this is the ordinance that we would like to have approved by the Community Services Committee so we can send it to the General Board in March. So I think we would probably need a vote, Mr. Chairman, for it to be sent to General, unless there's changes that need to be sent back to the State's Attorney's Office.
Unfortunately, this wasn't included as an agenda item. We cannot vote on it.
Okay.
Yeah, so we would have had to have known when we put this on the agenda that this was going to be here and included this in the packet.
Okay.
But the only thing we could do is head nod and send it to executive from this committee and say that we vetted it. We don't see any issues, but executive would need to make the final call if in fact you absolutely want it approved by the full board. Otherwise, it would have to come back here next month.
Okay. I'll leave this. I'm going to ask Chairman Weber her opinion.
And then Mr. Kirkster has a question after that.
The important part was the word unknowingly, and Mr. Conklin said this is a very important word. You can find it. Can you point it out? There it is, who knowingly permits. And Carrie also mentioned that was an important word too. There's a difference between a fine and a ticket. So maybe, Carrie, can you point that out? The word knowingly determines the fine or the ticket.
In a sense, yes. So when we pick up a dog and we bring it back to animal control, they are fined for having a dog running at large when it's off their property. We can also ticket them, and we don't bring them back to our building, and then they get a ticket for running at large. We don't ticket and bring them back to our building. So the knowingly part is the one that kind of got me, but the way John Coughlin had told me about, he said he would fight it out in court. The way that the knowingly states is that they actually let their dog run off the property. I was stuck in the knowingly part thinking that if my gate's open, I left my gate open, then I didn't knowingly leave my animal out. He said that's basically what you have to do. You have to use the knowingly in there for a defense standpoint.
Right. You hear no knowledge that the domestic animal is at large.
I had wrapped my head around it quite a bit, talking to John, several conversations, and we decided that the knowingly part has to stay in there, according to John. And I understand it now. It's kind of hard to explain, but it took a long time for me to wrap my head around it.
Also, this has been talked about for several years, and we have had in the past reports of how many calls there have been in the western part of the county where dogs and animals are running loose, and they take them back home and they run loose again, and there hasn't been any help. I think we've had some reports for 45 cases of one owner letting the dog go to the neighbor's yard. So this is, I think, Carrie, can you say this would help you out? That's what we're all about, is helping you out in your services.
Absolutely, yes.
Is Mr. Coughlin on the phone or the call today?
Not that I'm aware of, no.
Okay.
And we can push this until next month. We already have an ordinance. It's just something that I wanted changed. And the way that John and I talked, he can go into more detail about it from the standpoint on his side, just something that he and I talked about, and I wanted to change. He added knowingly in there for the reasons he added it.
So it's Mr. Kirkster, did you have something first? Could you use the mic, I'm sorry, so they can.
I think she just answered it, but what my question was, is this just more a clarification of an ordinance?
Yeah, it's just modifying the ordinance a little bit. We have one in place. It's just modifying the ordinance, and it defines, Part B was not on here before, so we've added that as well. Right. So it's basically just clarification for an existing ordinance that we already have. The problem came when one of the judges ruled that the animal was not running at large because of the owners didn't know the fence was down. And so we put the knowingly part in there so we can write a citation if they're knowingly letting the animal off the property.
Okay. I guess the way, it's really your call how you want to handle it going forward with this. Would you like it to go to executive committee and then Carrie and John Coughlin we get on with executive? Or do you want this to come back to the committee next month here? Because I'll let the sponsors of this tell me what they want to have happen.
It's fine to go until next month. We've had this, we're working on it for a little while. We had the ordinance in here for running at large. I don't think that anything is going to be written or changed, in the meantime. So I think it's fine to go until next month. There's no reason to have a special meeting for it, I don't believe.
And we'll do that, then we'll make sure it's on the agenda. And then, and if we forget, please remind us. It's a lot happens between now and then. Sure. But the one thing I will mention though, whenever we're talking about ordinances, it's good to know that the state's attorney has seen it, but we need to see what has changed with red line somehow, whether it's copied with, not in red, obviously it'll be black and white, but somehow we can see what the changes are, that the state's attorney is present when it's presented, someone from their office, so we can ask them questions. Because I have, like, one question I have is, if somebody gets a ticket for running at large and they fall below that threshold for can appeal not to pay tickets to the courts, are we just not spinning our wheels? And that's a question I have. Maybe this is separated from people who get fines at the courthouse and can petition the court to have all of their fees and fines removed. So again, if we're limited on resources and this is a tool, are we hamstrung by that law? In a lot of cases, because if your dog is running at large, there may be a certain percentage of those that could qualify for not having to pay the ticket. See my point? So those are questions I would have for John, and I don't know if the committee has those types of thoughts as well. Because then we're just adding cost without any revenue to back up the money we spent to get the dogs to stop from running at large. So just a thought. That's one of them.
Mr. Chair.
Yes, sir.
I'd like to ask the ladies, do we have inoculation tags for pets?
Rabies tags, yes. Every animal in the county should have a rabies tag. Every domestic animal, cat or dog, should have a rabies tag.
Are there inoculations other than rabies?
That are required by the state? No. Or the county? No. Microchipping is the only other thing, but it's not a tag. So they have to be vaccinated and registered with the county. That's the registration part, is the tags. That's where we make most of our income, is on the registration. So we know what every animal is in the county.
Okay.
That's what funds animal control. It's a separate fund for predominantly not funded by taxpayers. It's through those
Yeah, I
fees.
understand.
Yeah.
So, Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
so what I'm hearing from you, we will slate this for the March meeting, and we will get you a red line copy of the ordinance, and we'll hopefully have Mr. Coughlin here as well.
Sure. Thank you for that. I hope you understand. I don't like putting brakes on things, but if it's not on the agenda, we can't vote on it. So yeah.
Okay, that's fine. I just have one other thing to share. This has, I don't need an approval. This is an update on our waterfowl. And everyone, can you see this? Our signage that we have been talking about has been sponsored by the state's attorney's office and by the sheriff's department. And this is just, I don't know if I should make this a little bigger. I don't want to, there. Now, this is an education piece as well. The sign itself is 18 by 24, and it will be placed on a stake, a 7-foot stake. And it has not only do not feed the waterfowl, but why, as far as malnutrition, overcrowding, pollution, diseases, and attraction of pests. And also we have natural resources down here, Illinois State Department of Natural Resources, the state's attorney's office, and the sheriff's department. These signs are going to be printed in both English and Spanish, and will be distributed through the park districts of Kankakee, Bourbonnais, and we have one that will be Illinois Department of Resources as well. Well, you can see.
Let me say this, madam.
Yes.
I'm guilty of that with my grandson over at the Bird Park Quarry. My God, that's going to be, whew. Every time I would take my grandson over there, there'd be grandparents and parents with bread feeding the waterfowl consistently. So, wow.
And that is especially our specialist, Dawn Tutt, has really stressed that feeding bread to wild fowl causes what is called angel wings, where it weights them down. They're unable to fly then. So what I would suggest is not only maybe taking some seed over there, but frozen peas would be a good thing to share. I mean, it's not like don't stop feeding them, but take things, maybe keep a little container of bird seed in your trunk just to take over there, and not, have like foods that could cause diseases or angel wing. Mm-hmm. So that would help them. So we're not saying don't. And one of the park districts, we had to send over volumes of research as to why that these signs are important and that people are educated on that. And now that the information has been out there, the district has approved having signs placed. I will show you, this is a scale of a 6-foot person, and the sign would be where it's readable and not able to, trip over whatever. So there will be 54 signs, 27 in English and then 27 in Spanish. And you can see that, again, we have our state's attorney's office and our sheriff's department have sponsored this, and no county money has been used. And I do want to show you if I could get it up here, of the locations. I gotta stop share here. Oh, there they go. Share. I can't see it there. Here are the locations. Can everyone see that okay? We have the Island Park in Moments, where there are a large gather of the geese over there. And the Kankakee Park District was very welcoming to have this done. Bourbonnais jumped on board at the last minute after the information was sent to them. And of course, Davis Creek is the state of Illinois. It belongs to them, so they are going to allow the sign. So we have permission from all of these locations to put these signs up at no cost to the county.
Okay, so no is bread, but you're saying peas and birdseed? Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I learned something today.
Yes.
Okay.
Well, we're hoping that, because too, the other problem we're seeing too are masks. That masks are getting tangled in the feet of the geese, and they're carrying those around, maybe around their beak or their neck or whatever. Dawn has shared with me so many instances of angel wing on geese and ducks, and also now we're seeing masks that people just toss out there. So we just want to prohibit not only the garbage, but safety of having diseased animals in the area as well. Well, we're ready to go to print, and these signs will be placed when we can see the ground. And either the park districts are going to do it, or we have volunteers that will be putting the signs up. But they have specific areas that they want to put those signs.
Thank you for that information.
However, and the other thing that Tinker could mention is that when Dawn talked to the state park, Yankee River State Park, they were very enthusiastic. And matter of fact, we're going to recommend it to other state parks in the state as well as the district. So personnel there thought it was a very, very good idea.
Mr. Smith, did you have something?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, I do. If I'm reading that thing right, the sign, there's no penalty, correct? For violation?
No, it's just an information, education. It has nothing to do, the sponsors are on there because they are the ones who are donating the money to pay for it.
So I just want to make sure it's the sheriff and the state's attorney personally who are donating. It's not the county. So they're using their own, well, they're using their own bread, not the county's. Sorry. I'm sorry. I was sitting right there. I couldn't help it. Because it has their office logo, but it's them personally. It's not I believe that's the case.
It's
right?
grant.
Yeah, it's grant.
Grant.
Grant funded. Okay. Thank you.
Yeah.
Safety fund or an animal fund. That's what it's called.
Gotcha.
Yes.
Okay.
And this is something we have talked about since the inception of AWAC, that it's been on our list, and we're real proud to say that everyone was on board, and the state's attorney and the sheriffs were grateful to them. Grateful to Dawn Tutt because she is our expert specialist in wildlife, and we're real proud of this project. And we hope that more people will understand and know that certain foods for geese are not good.
Well, the other is the creator of the signs has done a marvelous job and worked with us very, very well to change things or fix things or upgrade things. So he did a very good job. And
he never charged us for 4-color either. He just kept it at the two color. So he was very nice. So we're really proud of this project, and we're going to get this off and running when spring comes. And then I believe that I won't get into our TNR. We're getting into that. Our subcommittee now has a subcommittee of TNR, and we're going to be meeting. We got the notice from the chairman of that committee. We're going to be meeting really soon. So we have that coming up, as well as an education forum for the shelters and for animal lovers as well. We hope COVID passes soon and that we can get that off the ground. So as I said, we've been a very aggressive, energetic group, doing it by Zoom, and believe it or not, has been very successful.
Is there any questions for Tinker or Carol regarding AWAC? All righty. Moving on then, thank you so much. Any new business, old business for the committee?
Andy, I may have something for new business, please.
Yes, Mr. Blair. Hold on just a second, please. I turned your camera off because we were looking at the top of your head for a while. Oh. Hold on just a second.
Sorry about that.
No, that's okay. You were looking down. Hold on just 1 second. There you go.
All right. Great. Thank you. This is just something that I wanted to bring to the committee's attention. It's not an action item for today, but I did want to let you know, at least in this capacity, I was served with a summons a few weeks ago. A taxpayer is suing me in my official capacity as the supervisor of assessments. And that matter is being reviewed by the council, the state's attorney's office, to determine the merits, if any. So I just wanted to make sure that the committee knew about that. Obviously, this happened after the last time we met in January, and I wanted to make sure that the committee was aware that this situation does exist. And that's really all I had.
Okay. All right, thanks for that, Eric. And if there are particulars, you know, we can't, obviously it's a legal case, but you know, there's we can discuss things offline between in official capacity, not in obviously public settings.
Sure.
So, any other questions? New business, old business? All right, Mr. Kirkstra?
I make a motion, we adjourn, Mr. Chairman.
We have a motion to adjourn, and Ms. Peters with a second.
Thank you.
Is there, all those in favor say aye.
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 All those opposed, same sign. Record reflect no negative votes from Zoom, so we are adjourned.